Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Captain.
I'm Lynn.
And today we're going to be reviewing and talking about and showing you how to play Anno 1800. So first things first, I want to give a big thank you to Cosmos, who sent us this review copy to play and check out and review. Thank you, Cosmos. And before we get too into this review, I do want to say I've got a ton of links in the description down below that you can check out at your leisure. There's a link to BoardGameCaptain.com. That's a great hub for all things Board Game Captain. There's also a link to my Teespring store if you'd like to get yourself some cool Board Game Captain merch, t-shirts, mugs, etc. And if you are in a position to and would like to support the channel, there's a link to my Patreon, all in the description down below. All right, so Anno 1800 is designed by Martin Wallace. That is a designer name that needs no introduction for people who've been around in the board gaming space for a while, because he's done quite a few very well-received games. Though this is actually, I think, our first Martin Wallace game that we've played.
Okay.
Like, we keep hearing the name, and everyone is always talking about how awesome he is, but this is the first of his designs I think we've tried. I don't think we had gotten to try any of his before now.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I don't think so. Anyway, so it was designed by Martin Wallace, and it's based on a video game of the same name. Now, the stats are... Go ahead.
2 to 4 players, 12 and up, 120 minutes.
So let's start there. Now, 2 to 4 players, yes.
I mean, there's no player interaction, so...
There's very little player interaction. So this game plays, it's a very much a Euro game where you're doing some like tech tree building, resource management, worker placement. Would you agree to that statement?
Yeah.
And the only player interaction really is if someone grabs a industry that you wanted and you can't get anymore, because each one usually only has 2 copies of each industry. And then when other people do grab that industry, you can spend your trade tokens to trade with them to use that industry.
That's like...
Is that it?
Yeah, I wouldn't even call that player interaction. You're not interacting. You're just like, I'm using your soap.
That said, though, this is exactly the kind of game that you're often talking about that you like, is games with very little to no player interaction. You love those games.
I do.
You're a cube pusher extraordinaire.
I do.
So that's definitely not something...
I want a tiny little shuffleboard thing to push my cubes around the game
board. Just a little, like, almost like a mini broom, basically, yeah. So, yeah.
Look, the thing that the...
At the casinos?
Yeah, that the casinos use for the chips.
For the chips, okay.
Sure
I don't know what you call it.
I'm sure it has a name.
Hey, comment down below if you know what that's called.
It's probably some stupid, like, chip pusher or
yeah,
something.
Well, then you need a cube pusher. A little one for cubes. All right, so for the ages 12 and up, maybe that might be a little bit of an underestimate on this one. This one's kind of heavy.
I think it's easy enough. It might take a 12-year-old a couple turns to really understand what's going on.
It took me a couple turns to understand what was going on.
Well,
so I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it's a little bit of an underestimate. Maybe a year or two older. Maybe 13, maybe 14, but not too much more. But you think it's okay?
I think it's fine.
All right, that's fair. And playtime 120 minutes. I think this is not good not to give a range, because the length of this game will vary significantly based on player count.
Yeah.
It is much quicker as a 2-player game than it is as a 4-player game, for sure. 2 players, this is going to go quite fast.
Well, you don't... It's because it's based on hand size.
Yeah.
I mean, it really depends. It doesn't even... The player count doesn't even matter. A 4-player game could be really fast if there was someone just consistently getting rid of their cards and not getting more. So it has nothing to do with player count.
The takeaway there 100% is there needs to be a range here. There is no range on the box, and the range of time for this game could be huge. It could be quick, or it could take a while. Again, depending on how long it takes someone to get rid of their cards. Just putting a static number is not very representative.
It's not, but I wonder if they chose that, like maybe that's like the average or the minimum amount of time for someone to be able to get all the things to get rid of all their cards. You know?
So let's talk about some of the components. I'm going to pass it over to you to pull some components out while I talk about the rule book. The rule book is 16 pages. It is full color, lots of diagrams, very well done. I had no issues understanding how to play this game once I read the rule book, but FYI, this is a bit heavy. As you can see, looking at these pages here, there's lots of text, lots of explanations. You only get one action each turn, but you've got a ton of options for your actions, and there's a lot to understand. And I would say, and we're experienced gamers, we were probably at least halfway through our first game before we really understood what we were doing. So FYI, this is a heavier kind of Euro game for sure. You just like threw stuff at me over here.
I keep dropping everything.
So, well, since you pulled these out, we should talk about these cheat sheets because they're awesome.
They need to be bigger, though. This is useless.
No, it's not useless, but it could be bigger.
The things on the board are bigger.
Okay, but this side, with all the text here, this gives you a cheat sheet for all the actions, and this is so necessary because sometimes there's little things that you could forget if you didn't have the cheat sheet for the action. So this is very important, and I like that they have these, and I like that they have 4 of these, which is really great. I'm really glad that these cheat sheets are in here. Go ahead, what do you got there?
Oh, well, this is the board.
So the front of the board is mostly a placeholder.
It's like a little jigsaw thing.
Yeah, and the front is kind of a placeholder, as you can see here, and it has pictures where everything goes, which is really nice because it helps you organize it. And then it's a totally unnecessary but beautiful choice. Show them the back.
It looks like it's from one of the expositions, like expos that they used to. I don't know. They still have them in London. Those like
I don't know.
Those expos where they show the newest machines and fads and stuff.
So these are the New World Islands that you can get through exploring, and then they have very nice illustrations and iconography for the various New World resources you get off the New World Islands. Why don't you show the starting island?
Oh.
Yeah, that's what you're grabbing.
Yeah, they're all the same.
So they come with, these are, again, spaces for your worker cubes, your population cubes, starting industry, starting ships. And then on the back, again, you have an unnecessary but beautiful illustration. This is the one from the cover of the box, actually. We've got, these are old world islands, which these ones, in addition to being an island, will give you something free. This one gives you a free actual industry. This one here gives you a free couple of green population cubes. Let me show a few different ones. There's other ones with different population cubes and industries. This one gives a free ship. This one gives a free shipyard. This one lets you draw a couple of cards. There's tons of different ones, which is really cool.
Yeah, bag of cubes.
Pretty standard. You got 4 different colors. They're for the different population cubes. Whoops. Hope we didn't drop any. We got some cardboard punch-out pieces. We got ones for gold. Pretty self-explanatory. These are for exploration, and these are for trade, which you're going to see how all of these are used while we're playing the game.
These are the little tiles that go on the board.
There's a ton of these. You're going to see these out while we're playing. There's too many to just be showing. There's also a ton of cards as well, and again, you're going to see these out, and we're going to show some of them while we're playing and exactly how it is you achieve these goals and get the points. But yeah, there's like 5 decks of cards. That's a quick overview of everything that comes in the box. It would take too long to really show everything, but again, you're going to see a lot more out during the tutorial portion. But let's head over, and we're going to run you through a few turns to kind of show you how this game plays, give you a good feel for it, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about how this game feels, and we're going to rate it and review it. Okay, so here we are set up to play a game of Anno 1800. So in order to set up the game, you have to place the board out in the middle of the table. You have to place all of the tokens on the board. They have illustrations on the board to show you where each individual set of tokens is placed. You have to shuffle up the objective cards and deal out a random 5 cards. Everyone gets their personal player board. They get 4 farmer tokens, 3 worker tokens, and 2 artisan tokens, which are the green, blue, and red, respectively, placed on the board, as well as 2 trade tokens for their trade ships and 1 exploration token for their exploration ship. You figure out who's going to be going first randomly. We've given the first player token to Lynn, and then around the table, everybody gets an increasing amount of gold to make up for the fact that they're not going first. You shuffle up the stacks of Old World Islands and New World Islands. You shuffle up the exploration deck. You shuffle up each of the population decks. And then basically, that's it. You're kind of ready to go. You got to get your little cheat sheet out. You have all the tokens out. There's just a lot of stuff you have to put out. and you're ready to play. So to play Anno 1800, this is one that is really good to kind of learn while doing. We're going to explain while we go. Now there's a list on the cheat sheet of all the possible actions you can take, but you only take one action on each turn. I'll be playing on this side of the table, so this is my board here.
I'm over here, so this is my board.
And we're going to start off with Lynn for our first turn, and we're just going to take one action each and explain how these actions work, and we're going to try to get through most, if not all, of the actions to explain them for this tutorial. Now, we have these objective cards here, which will get bonus points in the case of these random 4 cards, and in this case of this one, there's an extra action you can take possibly with that card, but there are lots of other ways to get bonus points through the game, usually through cards. To start with, we do deal a random number of these population cards, 2 of the red, purple, blue ones, and 7 of the green, blue ones to each player, and they are a hidden hand. Lynn, avert your eyes while I show some of my objective cards. The objective cards show you what resources and things you need to complete them, and then they give an amount of points and usually a bonus of some kind shown at the bottom of the card. But without any further ado, we're going to get into it. Lynn, what do you want to do for your first turn?
I am going to explore the old world.
That is a very good first turn.
So I'm going to take my exploration token, put it off the board.
And I will pass you an old world island. What bonus did you get for that one?
I got a ship with the trade token on it.
Nice.
So
Let me get you a trade token for your trade ship. Now, that is my favorite thing to do first as well, so I'm also going to explore the old world. I'm going to exhaust one of my only exploration token and do the exact same thing. Mine, though, lets me get 2 exploration cards, so I'm going to draw 2 of them. And again, to show you that they're shown here, I can build something on top of this later, but for right now, it just gives me a one-time bonus for having opened that up. Now, the first of the old world islands that you get will cost you 1 exploration token. The second one will cost you 2. The third one will cost you 3. And the fourth one, which is the max, will cost you 4. So the thing is that generally speaking, you will not be able to get another old world, open the old world action done until you get some more exploration ships.
I'm going to expand by putting a farmer on the wheat and an artisan on the coal.
Okay.
And I am going to build a brewery.
Now, the brewery, as you can see, costs a wheat and a coal in the top there. Now, Lynn can place that on any of her open land spaces. She's choosing to place it there to give up... Oh, no, you're going to do it up there. Okay. She's placing it there. Those are some nice free open land spaces. She flips it over to now have an active brewery, which now has 2 worker spaces that she can place workers on. Workers are the blue cubes. To be able to make beer, which means she's working her way up the industry tech tree to be able to make more advanced things. Beer also is going to be useful for completing a lot of the population cards, which is why it is also going to be useful for other things as well. Are you all finished?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to make sausages. So to make sausages, I require coal and the little pig symbol there, which I believe is for livestock. So I'm going to place one of my farmers on the livestock. I'm also going to place an artisan on the coal, and I am going to get a sausage factory here, which I am going to also place on one of my spots on the New World Island, which Lynn has reminded me, yes, I have to flip it over so now it has worker spots on it.
I'm going to play a population card.
Okay, so what resources do you need for it?
I need beer and...
Goods?
Goods. So, blue on the beer and a red on the goods.
Okay, let's show that one to the camera over here. So this is, this population card, as you can see in the top, it costs a beer and a goods. It gives Lynn 3 points for the end of the game, and she's going to get a free red worker, an artisan. Now, every time you get a new cube, a new population cube, you have to get the corresponding card and add it to your hand, which means it will take you longer to get rid of all the cards from your hand, but earning points is well worth it towards the end of the game, which Lynn has now placed that in her scored pile. Are you all finished?
Yes.
I am going to do another expand action specifically to get myself some more industry going. I'm going to want to make a distillery here, so I'm going to activate a farmer to get potatoes and a artisan to get me some more coal. That is my last of my coal spots. So until celebrating a festival, I will not be able to get any more coal right now. But this will get me a distillery, which is very useful for a lot of things. I'm going to place it in my other open spot over here on my board. Again, in my extra spot I have that is on my old world board, and that's going to be it for my turn.
So I am going to expand. Also, I am going to build a bakery. So I need wheat, and I need coal, and I will build my bakery right next to my brewery. It's the yeast area of your
island there. Oh, very good. Well, bakeries are good. That's going to get you a lot of good stuff. And Lynn and I are going for different things, which is actually quite good because these trade tokens can be used to trade for goods from other people's islands. So there is a lot of variety between the two of us in what we are going for, which is very useful. I am going to play a population card like Lynn has already done. I need a sausage and to activate the distillery as well to get the booze. So now both of those require blue worker cubes. I'm going to place one on each of their spots over here, which means that I will now get to play this card here, which required the sausage and the distillery, and it will get me one red artisan and 3 points. I'm going to place it over here in my scored area beneath my board here. And Lynn, pass me one artisan, please. But then also, unfortunately, pass me one of the cards that has the red, purple, blue on it. I have to add that to my hand.
Okay, I am going to play a population card. I'm going to play this lady who needs beer and bread. So I'm going to do that, and I get 3 tokens to put on her.
3 of the trade tokens, yes. So now those can be spent, and those are only, unlike the ones we spent from our ships, which we will get back when we celebrate a festival, those are one use, and Lynn will be able to spend them at her leisure, but they are one use. Once they're spent, they are gone, but they are going to be great for extending the amount of time between Lynn having to celebrate festivals, because she can trade for lots of things that are only available, say, on my board over here. Okay, I would like to build a cannery to make some canned food that requires livestock and steel. So I'm going to use one of my farmers to activate my livestock space, and I'm going to use my last artisan to activate my steel refinery to be able to build my cannery, which I am going to flip over and I'm going to place in a spot down here, taking up one of the spots that I could have built a shipyard. But in this case, I really need the space for that cannery, so I'm going to build the cannery down there, and that's going to be it for my turn.
I'm going to celebrate a festival to get my dudes back.
So celebrating a festival lets you take all of your population cubes back to the respective spaces, as well as all of your exploration and trade tokens back to the respective ships. So is that it for you?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to do a play population card action. Now, my first resource I need for this particular population card I'm going to play is canned food, which costs me a blue. I'm going to put it down here on my canned food. Now, I also need bread. I do not have bread, but Lynn does, so I'm going to do the trade for it. Now, on our board, the cheat sheet says that anything that requires a blue worker cube, which I believe your bread does, correct?
Yes.
Costs 1 trade token. I'm going to use my 1 trade token for the blue bread. Whenever you trade with another player, it's mandatory. They can't deny the trade, but as a reward, they get 1 gold for you trading with them, which they can use later. So here's your gold, Lynn. And now what I get for that bread and that canned food is I get this card here, which, as you can see, has a symbol for 3 upgrades of either green or blue population cubes plus 3 points. So I'm going to get 3 upgrades immediately for free. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade my green one, who is here, to a blue, and then from a blue to a red for my first 2 upgrades. So Lynn, give me a red straight off. And then for my 3rd and final upgrade, I'm going to upgrade one of the greens on this livestock to a blue. Now, he stays on the same space, even though that was a space that normally required a green. But when I do a festival, he will go back to the correct space. And that is it for my action.
Okay, I am going to play another population card. I need a bread, and then I need to trade for the liquor.
Ooh.
So
that's one, and I will get 1 gold for that. Thank you, I appreciate it.
I'll use one of my one-offs. And I get 2 workers, but also 2 cards.
Yes, anything that gives you free people. Now, the card I played that was an upgrade, that does not make you take more cards for upgrading guys you already have, but anything that gives you new population cubes will make you take the cards. I'm going to do an expand action to build another shipyard. Now, the level 1 shipyards are free, so I actually don't have to pay anything for it, and I just get to place it out here. Now, in the future, if I were to do an expand to build ships, you are allowed to build a ship for each shipyard you have, if you have the resources to pay for the given ships, depending on whether they are a trade ship or a exploration ship. And each shipyard can build a ship up to its level or lower. So level 1 shipyards, which I have 2 of now, could build me 2 level 1 ships as long as I had the resources to pay for them.
So I'm going to build a soap factory. I'm going to put a farmer on the livestock and a artisan on the coal.
Okay.
And get a soap factory.
Very good.
I think I'm going to put it right there.
Okay then. I'm going to declare a festival so I can get all of my workers and tokens back, because as you can see, I was rather light on the ability to do much of anything else at this point. I pretty much had done everything I could, so that'll be it for me.
Okay, I am going to play another population card.
Okay. What's this one? Let's see it. So this one requires a soap and a beer. And then it will get you 4 gold plus 3 points. So I'm going to get you your 4 gold while you're doing that. That's really impressive, actually. 4 gold is a lot. Here you go. Okay, I'm going to play another population card. This one requires canned food and sausages. So this is a very hungry population card. I'm going to play a blue on my canned food and a blue worker cube on my sausages. Which gets me this guy here, which gets me 2 more blue workers in addition to 3 points. So I get 2 blue workers and 2 more of their cards, if you would please. Thank you, Lynn. And then it is your turn.
Okay, I am going to use my exploration token to explore the New World.
Oh, so I will pass on the top New World one. Now these, let's show this out here because we are limited on space out here, but this gives you access, as you can see, to lots more kinds of goods that you will need for certain cards and certain upgrades. In the case here, you have cotton, you have, what is that there? Coffee. Yeah, that's
coffee beans.
Cotton, coffee, and tobacco. But now, as you see, each one has a cost of 1 trade token. So Lynn can obtain these by using trade tokens. I am not actually able to trade with Lynn's New World Islands, but she can, and that is how she will get some upgraded things. In addition, the New World exploration cards give her, they're like population cards the same. We're just going to show, like, as you can see, they require things like that, and you get 3 of them in your hand for having gotten and explored the New World action. Just a quick note on some of the actions that we did not get to show. A couple of things. You can increase the workforce to make up to 3 new population cubes. There is a cost listed on top of them that tells you how much they cost. So for instance, farmers only cost a wood. They're very cheap, whereas workers cost a brick and a wood, and artisans cost a goods, a coal, and a brick. They get more expensive as they go, all the way up to the investors, which are quite expensive, costing you a coal, a goods, an iron, a window, a luxury goods, and the use of a red population to actually purchase one of those light blue population cubes. Another of the actions we didn't get to show was the action for upgrading. I did do an upgrade, as you saw, for free because it was one of the bonuses I had gotten for one of my population cards. but you can pay to upgrade. The cheat sheet on how much it costs to upgrade, say, a blue to a red is shown between the blue and red space on your player board. Another thing we didn't get to show was that you can spend 2, as it shows here on the board, 2 exploration tokens to draw 3 of the exploration cards. The final action I wanted to reference is if you wound up with population cards that you really didn't like because nobody had built those industries and you really didn't want to, and you want to get something better, you can take up to 3 of them as an action, regardless of what type, and you put them on the bottom of the decks of that appropriate deck and draw the same number back off the top to add to your hand. So that is it for all of the possible actions. So that's basically it. That is how you play a game of Anno 1800. Everyone goes around, you use your trade tokens to get resources you don't have, you take actions to use resources to upgrade these various shops. Eventually, as you start to get things, there are some things you may not need anymore. For instance, livestock is started to become a thing that is not really that necessary because I have sausages, I have canned food, and Lynn has soap. There's not a lot else that livestock is needed for. So for instance, the next time I went to go get a new industry here, if I went to make glass, get a glass maker, I might have put him on top of my livestock farm there because it's not really necessary anymore for this part of the game on, because there's not really anything else I need to buy livestock for. Of course, that could change if Lynn, say, got rid of her soap and replaced it with a different industry. You're always able to discard one of your industry tokens here to replace it with something else as you go. You play and try to get the most points. Again, these cards that we have here get us points. The more expensive cards are worth more points. For instance, these ones here, the red, purple, blue ones, are worth 8 points apiece. In addition, there are some other ways to get points, like these exploration cards I got here. They have colored squares with pictures on them, and that is because at the end of the game, as long as I have 2 red population cubes, they're worth 1 point each by putting them on these squares at the end of the game, and 2 purple ones would be worth 2 points each over here. The pictures are references to certain objective cards, which we did not happen to draw for this example game. In addition, these objective cards are going to get you points. This one here says you get 6 points for each New World Island you've gotten. Now, Lynn already got a New World Island. That's 6 points. That's huge. This guy here gets you 3 points for a bunch of certain industries you've gotten. Beer and bread, Lynn got those. Distillery and sausages, I got those. Work uniforms, soap, Lynn got the soap. And canned food, I got that. So Lynn and I got a lot of points off of that already. And the university, for instance, says whoever has the most of the purple population cubes gets to get 10 points, while whoever has the second most gets 4. And the other of the objectives we have is one that if you had gotten the industry for electricity, you get 6 points, or the industry for the sewing machines, you also could get 6 points. So there's a lot of ways to get points. It's a bit of a point salad, a lot of different things you can do to get points. You play until someone runs out of the cards in their hand. Once they do, you finish out the current turn. Then you play one more complete turn and then count up points, and whoever has the most points wins the game of Anno 1800. So let's head on back to the table. We're going to talk about how this game plays and how it feels, and we're going to rate it and review it. Welcome back. So that was how you play a game of Anno 1800. We ran you through a few turns, give you a good idea on how to play, talked about some of the turn options that we didn't get to show. But yeah, that's a good a good kind of show of how it goes. You slowly get technologies and industries and use them to get better industries and also then to get objective cards, which give you points and sometimes extra workers and extra bonuses. And one of the few things we didn't get to show was building more ships, which then the main point of more ships is to get more exploration and trade tokens. And higher level ships, the main point of getting higher level ships is a level 2 ship will hold 2 of the appropriate type of tokens, and a level 3 ship will hold 3 of the appropriate type of tokens, which becomes very important later in the game for increasing your land size and also being able to do more things like trade more often. All right, so let's start with the negatives so we can end on the positives as usual. Lynn, why don't you give us a negative for Anno 1800?
There's a lot to set up.
Yeah.
And break down.
Yeah,
there's just like a lot.
There is a lot. And it's just because you have to put it's because you have to put all the things out on the board. Yeah. The decks of cards, the stacks of industries and all of that. It also, and that kind of, I'm going to kind of lead that into my first negative. There is no insert. So this is the sort. These two things are very related. So as Lynn pointed out, it is time consuming to set up. A little less so to break down, but still kind of time consuming to break down. If they put a really nice insert in here that you could pull out into like a couple of pieces, and it would have all of the bits organized nicely, maybe have all the decks of cards in slots, so you didn't have to actually like take them out of plastic bags and whatnot, and then maybe organize the
tiles.
Yeah, the tiles better, so you could more easily just put them out on the board.
They're just like in 4 plastic bags.
Yeah, they're just in plastic bags. So this is one of those where if somebody makes a custom insert for it, it might be very worthwhile. So my first negative though was the lack of an insert. Now your turn. Do you have any more?
Not really. I mean, it's a large game. It could be, if you don't have a very big table to play on, that could be a negative for some people.
You are grasping at straws for a negative here. Your table may not be big enough. This will fit on a dining room table just fine. This will fit on a kitchen table. You're grasping at straws.
Okay.
You can't bring it to the pub or coffee house.
No.
It's not a pub game. But you're grasping at straws for negatives. I don't have any more negatives. My only negatives were the one you mentioned about the setup time, and mine about the lack of an insert. I do feel those are negatives. But as you can tell, they have nothing to do with the actual gameplay. And that's because the gameplay is great. Positive. Go ahead.
I like that you can play an entire game from start to finish without ever speaking a word to any of your opponents.
I love that. See, like some people will find this to be a negative. And I think it's funny that you always find that to be a positive. You love games where like everyone sits in silence and just does their own thing. like you adore those, like the cube pushers. So like I also quite like them. I don't think I'm as gaga over them as you are, but I agree. It is a very good, it's very analytical. You have to really think, and this is gonna be my positive. You have to really think about your plan. You have to be very strategic about it. Okay, based on the goals I have, I need to get this industry. But to get this industry, I have to get that other industry first. So how am I going to go about this? But I have 3 guys that need this low-level industry. Should I get that first before building my way up the tech tree to get that particular industry? And I like that. I like the way it starts to make you think and plan ahead. You have to plan like multiple turns ahead on what you're going to do. And really manage your resources well. So that's my big perk. First big plus. Your turn. Big plus.
I like how you have to get rid of the cards in your hand to end the game. It seems like, not a unique way, because there are, there are, just basically card games that you win by emptying your hand. But like for a board game of this like size and complexity, it's a unique way to end the game. You're
right, because like that's the sort of thing you see in light card games. It's not the sort of thing you see in a heavy board game, which is, it is a little unique. And also, I like the dichotomy that early on you want to get more workers, but the more workers you get, you have to take more cards in your hand, which then means you have to get rid of those cards. So there's this balance. At what point am I going to start getting more workers because I want to just get rid of my cards, right? Which is really cool. I also want to say I love the resource management and worker placement in this. They're really, really well done. These mechanics work really, really well together. Do you have anything else specifically you want to reference?
I don't think so.
So yeah, the mechanics are great. What do you think on the worker placement and resource management?
I like it.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. It's enjoyable. It's good mechanics. Worker placement, resource management, set collecting. It's got like a tech tree kind of thing where you're slowly building up. It's the industry tiles, because you need certain industries to get other industries to get the industry that you need for your objective to get you more points. It's a point salad. Definitely a bit of a point salad.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, now these are the sort of things, being a cube pusher, being a point salad, being a game with very little player interaction. These are the sort of things that can be very divisive for people. Because some people love these sort of things and some people hate these sort of things. We love them. So if you agree with us, this is going to be the sort of game for you. But you can tell we're going to be positive about it because we do love these style of games. Like I hear people complain about these things, and I'm like, what are you complaining about? Those are great.
People suck. I don't want to talk to them.
All right. Do you want to go first or second on the rating for this one?
I'll go first.
You want to go first?
Yeah.
Do you ever say you want to go second? You always say first.
And not unless I don't actually know what I'm gonna rate it. Every time I say I go second, it means that I have no idea.
You need a time to think?
Yeah.
You need a minute?
I
Okay.
need the pressure to just
wow.
think of a number.
Okay then. How many stars out of 10 are you going to give to Anno 1800?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
8 out of 10 stars. That is very high. So, like, what goes into your rating?
Well, there's a lot to set up.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's set up, I enjoy myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a lot to break down.
But
So
it's the enjoyment in the middle.
So it's like sadness, happiness, sadness.
But the happiness is enough to get
Yeah.
it all the way up to an 8, because 8 is very high. That means you love it, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good game. I have the exact same feeling you do. I am also thinking this game is fantastic. I really enjoy it. I've enjoyed every game we've played of it so far, and I want to play it a lot more. And that is why I am also going to give Anno 1808. We are in total agreement on this one. 100%. Not often that we totally agree, get to the exact same score, but yeah, we're both 8s on this one.
You won't let me do reviews on games I hate.
It's not fair if you totally dislike the style. All right, so this is a 2 thumbs way up review from us, because both of us being at 8, that's 16 total stars out of a possible 20. That is a very high rating. If you like Euro board games, you like worker placement, resource management, set collecting, point salad type games, we can highly recommend this one to you, but you have to be into the heavier end of these, because this is a pretty heavy game for this style, I would say. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the heaviest Euro I've ever played, but it is a heavier Euro. It's at least on the lighter end of heavyweights, I feel like. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns either on the game of Anno 1800 or on this video, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review and tutorial video and you'd like to see us do more like it, be sure to give this video a like, share it on all forms of social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.